show Leaders Voice, and today in this program we are discussing a very important subject, and that is about body neutrality. And the body neutrality has emerged as a subject, as an opinion in around 2015, but it is quite a strong, quite a subject which we should think about. And to discuss this topic, we have Mr. Sitesh Shrivastava. So let's welcome him. Morning, how are you doing today?
Very well. Morning, Kanchan, to you. Nice to see you with a new topic, stirring our minds together. Yes, I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine, Sitesh. And yes, as you mentioned, we are discussing a very new topic, and we are talking about body neutrality. But before we really go further, I would like to ask, what does it mean? Because this is a very new term which started in 2015, I suppose. And what our audience can think about this term?
Well, Kanchan, yes, you're right. 2015, body neutrality. The West has a fascination of coming up with new fads, new trends, which is then adopted in the psychiatrist circles, psychology circles, cosmetic circles, and ultimately comes into the marketing circles and plays with our minds. So body neutrality is something that talks in terms of whatever is the body, the engine that we live in. We must like it. I'm not using the word love it, because for me, I understand that respect and love are generally at the same levels, generally speaking. So there has been a talk about body positive image, which says that whatever we have, we must love our body. But I started thinking that if somebody is kind of disabled or especially abled, it's not easy for somebody to think body positive, right? Me and you, we have everything goes appearance wise nice, so we can think in that way. But somebody who doesn't have a complete eyesight, or a nice skin texture, and so how come body positive is actually not helping? It didn't help much. Then this new term comes up with body neutrality, which says that wherever skin that we reside in this structure, we must feel good about it. We must feel content about it. And more than that, whether we love it or not, we should respect it. Because through that temple, which is called body, we enjoy the pleasures and the pain of this world. What do you say?
Yes, definitely. It's quite a good way of thinking, and it's a good point for the discussion, because definitely we are living in this body, and we have to really be maybe respect, as you said, we have to respect the body. But at the same time, I also want to ask you, Sitesh, that when we do body neutrality, so neutral is a term which says either you are happy or just ignore it, or maybe don't bother it, just let it be like this. So are we propagating this idea that you just don't care but be happy? That's what you are discussing?
Certainly not, Kanchan. We grew up in India, we both, and we have heard different terms while we were growing up: baby elephant, sukhi lakdi, chashmish, bhenga, mota, moti, and we grew up thinking really didn't good about it. It started as a fun. It ended in becoming a scar in our minds and hearts. And in the growing age, boys, when they hit the puberty, they get pimples. I realized that it is actually, they start becoming conscious about it. So think about our childhood friends. When we used to make friends in the school, we didn't look at all those things, right? None of the geometrical aspects were our considerations in a childhood.
Right.
So actually speaking, I think it starts from a very young age. Sometimes, even somebody saying something in a fun, just for a fun, becomes something, it goes down very deep. But what we have seen, what I have noticed, there is movies, there are media, there is a whole industry selling products around it. It starts from foods, it starts from cosmetics, it goes all the way down to the dress, the wear that we, our wardrobe, and everything, uh, it appears that it impacts women more, Kanchan, but I am sure it impacts men also, right? And that is, and in India, primarily the Gora, Kala, Gori Bahu, Kala Pati, all of those things, Dahej, related to the skin, this all gets mixed up. So I think it is time, Kanchan, to talk in terms of body neutrality and think better, at least respect, if not love, at least respect this temple, the engineering wonder that we call our bodies.
Yes, definitely. And you have mentioned that there are some disparities. There is some kind of sometimes a mental block, and not only in India, as you mentioned, that Gori Bahu and Kala husband, but it also implies to other countries like US. You must have seen there's a black population which suffered due to this kind of mentality. But at the same time, I really feel that I think it's also a part of human nature to really comment on many things, right? So, how really we can escape from this and follow a body neutrality? I think this is not in our nature. Do you have any opinion on this?
Well, I don't say that we can do away with this. Okay. It starts in the school, it starts in our housing societies, it starts in our friendship circles, because people are different, their upbringings are different, and the talk of the town is always different from what we talk in some small cities versus what we talk in some big cities. Going to the west, going to the east, culturally there are things that we keep hearing. The important part is to be sensitive about it. That's it. For children, to start with, we can tell our children to be sensitive about it. So obesity has been a problem, a medical problem. But mota patla is not a medical problem, that I would say. So the way that we use the words, the choice of words, whether it in our native language or in English, I think it is very, very important. The way it is talked about, the way it is said, right? It, tall, dark, and handsome, it doesn't apply to, many millions of the men, right? And how would you define if we say tall, dark, and handsome? Can we then define a Sachin Tendulkar? Can we define a Sunil Gavaskar for that, or even Rajpal Yadav for that? So I think it leads to self-rejection. It also leads to low self-esteem, Kanchan. Okay, for women, thin and beautiful, thin and fair. Please don't post my pictures until unless I have put some filters around it, I have edited it. So ultimately, it is important to understand the differences, and it is important to level them, like we iron our clothes, Kanchan, like that.
Yes, definitely. And I just record that when I was young, and there are kind of comments which I sometimes by default, or maybe I may have said somebody that you are fat. So it is immediately stopped by my elders. Don't say like this, because this is a part of, it's not good. The other person will feel bad about it. So Sitesh, definitely it's a very good discussion. It's a point we should think about. And at the same time, it is a very essential aspect of image building. And maybe we can also discuss a little portion also goes with the body language, which is very much required in not only in day-to-day life, but also in your profession. Right. So how
Yeah.
to really overcome, Sitesh, and what are those points?
Well, Kanchan, I think there are lots of trainings in the corporate sector. Okay, now with the diversity becoming such an important word in the corporate world, that HR professionals are coming with many kinds of orientation courses which are available. But when it happens in a corporate world, I think it becomes little late in life. We reach corporate world at probably 20 years of age. Sometimes we keep changing jobs from one country to another country, and then it is actually late. So I think it is important to do these things starting from the home, starting from the school, starting from our societies, starting from our congregations, whether it is a church or a temple or a mosque. It has to come. We have to understand the other person and the person's appearance. Okay, by looking at a beggar on the road, suddenly we make a face. Our children make a face, and then we start doing something what is being trying to be kind, forcefully kind. They probably don't need our pity. So now pittiness is again is something which has actually spoiled a lot of personalities. So I think there are a few things that we can start with, and as a takeaway from this discussion, Kanchan, uh, drop body talk from every conversation. I think that is the first thing that we must, even if it is for the fun, let that be remaining in the stand-up comedy. Okay, let that be there. It's a form of entertainment. Okay, second thing is that redirect the conversations the moment we feel that it is going to turn something else. But in the heat of the moment, we flow with the subject and the conversations, and we all become Wikipedias ourselves, right? And then it comes to the food. We must be able to eat the food that we want. Everybody should be made aware of the health benefits. But I think we make a fun of what people eat, how people eat. In India itself, the one is the spoon eating, one is the hand eating people, right? We make a fun of that as well. Listen to the body. It's very, very important to listen to the body, each organ, not just the outer bodies, internal body. In our yoga also, Kanchan, they say sometimes just think about that your inner body organs are talking to you. Have you heard what your liver says to you, what your tongue says to you? So I think that's a very important part. And reframe the body hating thoughts. It is very important. Reframe, saying that कि मैं मोटा लग रहा हूँ, I don't look good. It can be reframed. That reframing is very important to look at. But we all get into this what is called body shaming. This is another word we are hearing every other day. Especially children say this. As a parents, when we talk to children, they say don't body shame. You cannot body shame. If you remember our parents' time, we never knew this word Kanchan, body shaming, right? So these are some of those things.
Yes, actually, this is something good. And when you said that you should start from your school or house, so that makes the difference, Sudesh. And I really feel that people should come to the term that body shaming or body neutrality is not good, and the people or the children should be taught, should be trained for this. So as usual, it is so good to talk to you, Sitesh, and to discuss such a unique or such a modern.
We had a profound discussion regarding body neutrality with industry leader Mr. Sitesh Srivastav. I look forward for your comments on this subject and what really you think about your viewpoints. So I'll be meeting again next Saturday. Till then, you take care and keep smiling. Bye bye.